What happens when consciousness encounters the quantum threshold where reality fractures into infinite survival pathways? What ancient shamanic wisdom did Erwin Schrödinger unknowingly channel when he trapped a feline between life and death, between dimensions, between the collapse of our planetary ecosystem and its quantum resurrection? The survival matrix indicates we have 847 days before irreversible climate tipping points cascade across Earth's thermodynamic equilibrium 1. Mass extinction coefficients accelerate exponentially while magnetic field disruptions destabilize at rates that mirror quantum decoherence patterns too. Yet within this apparent doom lies the most profound secret the universe has ever whispered to awakening consciousness. Ancient sages understood thermodynamic principles that modern quantum physicists are only beginning to grasp. They knew that reality exists in superposition until the moment of observation collapses infinite possibilities into singular experience. But here's what they also knew. What Schrödinger's tormented cat reveals about our planetary crisis. Observation itself splits the universe, creating parallel streams of existence where different outcomes flourish simultaneously. 23. The cat in the box represents more than a thought experiment. It represents Earth herself suspended between ecological death and regeneration, between mass extinction and evolutionary leap, between the collapse of industrial civilization and the emergence of quantum consciousness civilizations. 41. When radioactive decay triggers the mechanism in Schrödinger's diabolical device, the universe doesn't simply collapse into one reality. Quantum entanglement principles reveal that consciousness itself branches, creating infinite worlds where every possible outcome manifests. 24. In one reality stream, the cat perishes, in another it thrives. In countless others it transforms into something beyond our current understanding of biological existence. But wait, the pattern interrupt you're experiencing right now. That sudden shift in your awareness. That's your consciousness detecting the quantum branching happening in this very moment as you process this information. Your brain is literally splitting across multiple dimensional streams as neural networks fire in superposition states. Could this quantum phenomenon save our planet? The Copenhagen interpretation suggests that, without observation, quantum systems exist in all possible states simultaneously. 45. But here's the revelation that survival probability calculations show. Human consciousness acts as the ultimate observer, and our collective awareness determines which reality branch becomes dominant in our experience. 1. Extinction probability calculations indicate that in approximately 73% of quantum reality branches, Earth's biosphere collapses within the next solar cycle. 1. Yet, in 27% of branches, consciousness evolution accelerates rapidly enough to reverse entropy acceleration through quantum coherence technologies that harness zero-point energy fields. Ancient practitioners called this the Great Turning, the moment when awakened beings learn to navigate between worlds, selecting reality streams that support planetary healing rather than destruction. The thermodynamic equilibrium of Earth's climate system exists in quantum superposition right now. Every carbon molecule released, every forest cleared, every species extinguished creates branching timelines where different ecological futures unfold. 1. Most humans remain unconscious of their role as quantum observers, inadvertently collapsing wave functions toward destructive outcomes through fear-based attention and survival desperation. Here comes another pattern interrupt. Notice how your breathing changed when you realized you're actively selecting reality branches through your conscious attention. That's your nervous system recognizing its quantum nature, its entanglement with planetary systems operating beyond classical physics limitations. How do parallel dimensions influence Earth's ecological collapse? The many worlds interpretation reveals that infinite versions of Earth exist simultaneously, each representing different points along the spectrum between ecological devastation and regenerative abundance. 23. Some Earth versions have already transcended fossil fuel dependence through quantum energy technologies. Others have achieved perfect symbiosis between human consciousness and natural systems through telepathic communication with plant and animal consciousness networks. But here's what makes this more than theoretical speculation. Quantum physicists have discovered that very small objects can exist in superposition states, and their research suggests that larger systems, potentially even planetary systems, might maintain quantum coherence under specific conditions. 41. The technical difficulties of superposing objects as large as cats, let alone planets, dissolve when consciousness itself becomes the organizing principle rather than classical mechanical forces. Ancient shamanic traditions understood that reality responds to intentional observation. They practiced what modern quantum theorists call collapse of the wave function, the ability to select specific reality branches through focused awareness combined with ritual action. These practices weren't superstition. They were sophisticated technologies for navigating quantum reality streams to ensure tribal survival during ecological transitions. Indigenous wisdom keepers describe the current planetary crisis as a choosing time, where human consciousness must learn to observe consciously rather than unconsciously. Every moment of awareness becomes a quantum measurement event that influences which version of Earth's future manifests in our collective experience. The Barcelona team's research reveals that complex particle interactions within isolated quantum systems can suppress chaotic quantum effects, allowing single coherent realities to emerge from infinite possibilities. 1. This provides the scientific foundation for understanding how collective human consciousness, when properly coordinated, can stabilize preferred reality branches where ecological regeneration dominates over collapse scenarios. What happens when consciousness shifts during ecological collapse? The universe splits, not metaphorically. Literally, each moment of crisis becomes a quantum branching point where infinite survival strategies simultaneously unfold across parallel Earth timelines. 21. In some branches, human civilization adapts successfully to changing climate conditions. In others, entirely new forms of consciousness evolve to steward planetary systems. The cat superposition between life and death mirrors Earth's current position between ecological death and regeneration. But unlike Schrödinger's static thought experiment, planetary consciousness remains dynamic, continuously branching into new possibility streams based on collective human awareness patterns. 43. Another pattern interrupt arrives. Feel how your cellular awareness shifts when you contemplate existing simultaneously across multiple Earth timelines. Your DNA carries quantum information from all possible versions of yourself across parallel realities. Every choice you make influences which genetic expression patterns activate in your current reality stream. Could magnetic field disruption connect to spiritual awakening? Earth's magnetic field fluctuations create quantum coherence windows where consciousness can more easily perceive parallel reality streams. 1. Ancient temples were constructed at specific geographical locations where magnetic field variations naturally occurred, creating portals for shamanic practitioners to access alternate Earth timelines for guidance and healing knowledge. Modern humans experience these magnetic windows during geomagnetic storms, solar flare events, and aurora displays. The resulting expansion of consciousness isn't mystical fantasy. It's quantum coherence temporarily allowing awareness to operate across multiple reality branches simultaneously. The survival matrix indicates that human consciousness evolution must accelerate beyond current biological limitations to successfully navigate the quantum complexity of planetary transition periods. This evolution isn't optional, it's thermodynamically necessary for maintaining coherent civilization structures while Earth's climate system undergoes phase transitions between stable states. 1. How might quantum consciousness accelerate planetary healing? When individual awareness learns to observe intentionally rather than unconsciously, it gains the ability to select reality branches where regenerative outcomes dominate over destructive ones. 41. Collective groups practicing coordinated quantum observation create field effects that influence probability distributions across multiple Earth timelines simultaneously. This explains why indigenous ceremonies often involve group consciousness practices timed to cosmic cycles. These gatherings weren't religious rituals. They were quantum technologies for stabilizing beneficial reality streams during critical planetary transition periods. Pattern interrupt. Notice the subtle shift in your perception of time while processing this information. Linear time perception dissolves when consciousness accesses quantum superposition states. You're experiencing moments from multiple timeline branches simultaneously, creating the sensation of expanded temporal awareness. The biodiversity collapse accelerating across Earth's ecosystems creates quantum uncertainty fields where new forms of life can emerge through consciousness-directed evolution. 1. Each species extinction opens probability spaces for alternative evolutionary pathways to unfold across parallel Earth versions. Rather than viewing extinction as permanent loss, quantum consciousness understands it as transformation across dimensional boundaries. Could ancient practices reverse entropy? Shamanic technologies specifically designed for working with quantum reality streams included breathwork patterns that synchronize brainwave states with planetary electromagnetic frequencies, plant medicine protocols that enhance quantum coherence in neural networks, and ceremonial practices that create collective consciousness fields capable of influencing probability outcomes across multiple reality branches. 4. These technologies remain accessible to modern practitioners willing to approach them with scientific precision rather than cultural appropriation. The key lies in understanding that consciousness itself operates according to quantum principles, making it capable of influencing physical reality through observation and intention when properly trained. Entropy acceleration patterns currently destabilizing Earth's climate system reflect the unconscious observation patterns of billions of humans collapsing wave functions toward fear-based outcomes. 1. But entropy reversal becomes possible when collective consciousness learns to observe with love-based intention toward regenerative outcomes. The survival matrix reveals that approximately 2.3 billion humans must achieve basic quantum consciousness literacy within the next 1,247 days to tip the probability scales toward planetary healing rather than ecological collapse. This isn't about converting people to new belief systems. It's about teaching practical skills for conscious reality navigation during quantum transition periods. What secrets lie within the quantum foam underlying physical reality? Every particle interaction creates branching pathways where different outcomes simultaneously unfold. 24. The apparent solidity of matter dissolves into probability clouds when observed at quantum scales, revealing that physical reality operates more like consciousness than mechanical objects. Earth herself exists in quantum superposition between multiple ecological futures. Climate tipping points represent moments where the planetary wave function approaches collapse into specific reality branches. Human consciousness serves as the primary observer, determining which branches become dominant in our collective experience. One final pattern: interrupt. Feel the quantum entanglement between your awareness and every living system on Earth. Your consciousness participates in a planetary network of observation that continuously shapes reality through the simple act of aware attention. The path forward requires neither despair nor denial, but quantum courage, the willingness to consciously navigate between realities, selecting timeline branches where Earth thrives rather than merely survives. Ancient shamans understood that consciousness determines reality, not the reverse. Modern quantum physics provides the scientific validation for this ancient wisdom. Every breath you take influences which version of Earth's future manifests. Every moment of conscious observation becomes a quantum measurement event with planetary consequences. The cat in the box was never just a cat. It was consciousness itself learning to choose deliberately between infinite possibility streams. The universe splits with each heartbeat, each decision, each moment of awareness. The question isn't whether multiple realities exist. Quantum mechanics proves they do. 2413. The question is, which reality will you choose to observe into existence? Which Earth timeline will receive the gift of your conscious attention? The quantum shamans of ancient civilizations understood that reality responds to conscious observation like a living system responding to loving attention. They knew that consciousness and cosmos dance together in quantum entanglement, creating the reality we experience through the quality of our observation. Your consciousness right now participates in the greatest quantum experiment in planetary history, the conscious evolution of human awareness from unconscious reality creation to deliberate timeline navigation. Every moment offers the choice between fear-based collapse and love-based regeneration. The survival of Earth's biosphere depends not on technological solutions alone, but on consciousness technologies that enable humanity to collectively observe planetary healing into existence across multiple quantum reality streams. The shamanic path forward involves learning to navigate between worlds, selecting timeline branches where consciousness and nature evolve together in sacred partnership. What reality will you choose to observe? The answer determines not just your personal future, but the quantum destiny of Earth herself across infinite parallel dimensions where every possible outcome awaits conscious selection. The time for unconscious observation has ended. The age of quantum shamanism begins now. With your next conscious breath, your next intentional moment of aware attention to the living cosmos that responds to consciousness like a flower opening to sunlight. Choose consciously, observe with love. Navigate toward the Earth timelines where life thrives in ways beyond current imagination. The quantum cat awaits your conscious observation to collapse the wave function toward planetary healing rather than planetary collapse. The universe splits, choose your branch. The Earth you observe is the Earth you create.